So most respected our venerable monks who are present in this online lecture series. Most respected Professor S.R. Bhatt sir, former chairman ICPR New Delhi. Most respected head of the Department of Philosophy and Religion, Professor Anand Misra ji. Most respected Professor Mukul Mehta sir. And I am really glad to see Professor D.A. Gangadhar sir here, who is also present, and Dr. Jai Singh and other senior teachers of our Banaras University and other dignitaries or senior fellows who are observing this online lectures. My dear research scholars, students, and well-wishers. It is really a great moment for me also to get associated with the Department of Philosophy and Religion on this online series Saturday, which is a continuous program of Department of Philosophy and Religion, BHU. And I feel myself privileged and honored to get an invitation from Department of Philosophy and Religion to speak on a subject which is also philosophical as well as our religious. So the topic which has been given to me by Dr. Professor Anand Misra ji, that Visuddhi Mag of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. So it is very difficult to summarize all the philosophical ideas or thoughts which have been discussed in our text Visuddhi Mag. Visuddhi Mag is considered as a magnum opus work of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. In a very brief, before I come to the main topic, I will discuss in a very brief manner about the contribution of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. I am not going to discuss the life and works because many of the scholars are known to the life and works of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. But the main contribution of Acharya Buddha Ghosh in the field of philosophical thoughts. So in a very brief manner, I would like to discuss because there are so many theories regarding the birth and the death of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. Many scholars are of the opinion that he took birth in Bodh Gaya of Bihar, and some of the scholars are that he took birth in Myanmar. So we are not going to discuss all these things, but what philosophical contributions or thoughts which were contributed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh, and by those contributions he is known as a great commentator of our Theravada Buddhism. As we know that he was a very great commentator. He was able to comment on all the teachings of the Buddha available in our Sinhalese commentaries. And there is a story that how he went to Sri Lanka to translate all the Sinhalese commentaries in Magadhi language or Pali language. But he was considered as a great, you can say, contributor for that how he was able to translate all the philosophical ideas available in Sinhalese commentaries by that time. And he is also considered as a great harmonizer also, that he was very much able to give the new thoughts which were available or which were present at the time of 6th century, at the 5th century AD, and which were hotly debated in India also. And those philosophical debates were also introduced in the translation of the Singlish commentary in Maghdi language, and how he was able to give a very, you can say, tricky philosophical ideas in the commentaries when he was translating all the commentaries from the Singlish commentaries. So it is the great contribution, and without arousing any suspicion among the persons who were scrutinizing the contribution or the commentaries of Acharya Buddha Ghosa, without making any suspicion among the persons who were dealing the commentaries written by Acharya Buddha Ghosa. So he is also considered as a great harmonizer to introducing the new philosophical thoughts which were hotly debated in India in 5th century AD in the translation of the Singlish commentaries available from there. Even in Acharya Vasubandhu, who was also writing Abhidharma Kosa, and in the Abhidharma Kosa also, he was also discussing that how Tamparnis are giving the ideas of Bhavanga Vijnana. So in the Visuddhimagga or in the commentaries, Acharya Buddha Ghosa was very much successful in introducing the concept of Bhavanga or Bhavanga Chitta or Bhavanga Vijnana, which was at that time in India, it was also hotly debated as a concept of Alaya Vijnana by Vijnanavadins. So how the concept of Alaya Vijnana of the Yogacharyans or the Vijnanavadins was secretly introduced in the commentaries available in Singlish commentaries. They were not available at that time, but these philosophical ideas were inserted in the Visuddhimagga or in the other commentaries of Abhidhamma Pitaka. Concept of Chittivithi, we are also knowing that Chittivithi is a process of knowing the objects also. And there is a process of cognition, that how there are 10 stages of cognitions. These are Bhavang, Chalang, Bhavana Vichhed, Panchdwar Vajjana, Sampatichana, Santirana, Othappana, Javana, Tadalambana. This theory of perceptions was hotly debated at the time of 5th century AD. And that concept of Chittivithi was also introduced in Visuddhimagga and in other commentaries of Acharya Buddha Ghosa also. And it was not any suspicion among the persons who were scrutinizing the commentaries or the Visuddhimagga, which is considered as a magnum opus work of Acharya Buddha Ghosa. Again, the concept of Vithi-mutta, again Chittivithi and Vithi-mutta. Acharya Buddha Ghosa was able to introduce the concept of Vithi-mutta, which was available in Yogacharyan or Vijnanavadins concept of Pravrti Vijnana. The concept of Pravrti Vijnana, which was hotly debated among the Vijnanavadins or Yogacharyans, that was also secretly introduced in Visuddhimagga and in the other commentaries of the Acharya Buddha Ghosa. And that Vithi-mutta also, he was also discussing that this Vithi-mutta, that freedom of the consciousness is just like a Pakati Mano. And this Pakati Mano, that is the luminous nature of the mind, is also hotly debated among the Vijnanavadins as a concept of Prakriti Prabhasavar. And in the text Lankavatar, this Prakriti Prabhasavar is hotly debated. And this concept was also introduced in Visuddhimagga and other commentaries of Acharya Buddha Ghosa. And these are the concepts which were hotly discussed in our commentaries of Acharya Buddha Ghosa and in the concept of the philosophical ideas which have been discussed in Visuddhimagga. So Acharya Buddha Ghosa was very much successful. He is also considered as a great harmonizer to introduce the philosophical ideas or the thoughts which were hotly discussed in India at the time of the 5th century AD in the commentaries of Acharya Buddha Ghosh or in the text of Visuddhimagga. So these are the contributions which were not, you can say, given in the eyes of the persons who were scrutinizing the works of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. But later on, this concept were thoroughly discussed and analyzed by Sinhalese scholars also, or acharyas also. So this is the great contributions that how Acharya Buddha Ghosh was very much successful as a great harmonizer to introduce the philosophical thoughts hotly debated in India in 5th century AD in his works Visuddhimagga as well as in the commentaries. Now the main text I am coming to Acharya Buddha Ghosh, that is the Visuddhimagga, the text which has been given for the today discuss. So I am going to discuss in a very brief manner that how Acharya Buddha Ghosh was able to discuss all the philosophical ideas which were hotly debated in India, and how all the philosophical thoughts are discussed in Visuddhimagga. First of all, before coming to Visuddhimagga, that what was the circumstances under which this text was composed, I will discuss in a very brief manner. That when Acharya Buddha Ghosh approaches to the Anuradhapur Mahavihar of Sri Lanka, and before testing his knowledge, he was given 2 verses to explain as per the teachings of the Buddha. And these 2 verses are available in the Jata Sutta of Sanjukta Nikaya. I just, for the sake of newcomers and who are not aware of all these things, that these 2 verses of Jata Sutta of Sanjukta Nikaya, that Anto Jata, Bahi Jatai, Jatai Jatita Paja, Tam Tam Gotam Puchami, Ko Imam Vijete Jatamti. There is a tangle inside, there is a tangle outside. Oh Gautam, I ask you again and again, who can disentangle this tangle? In answer to this question, Buddha says that Silepatithaya naroso payo chittam payam cha bhavayam atapi nipko bhikkhuso imam vijite jatamti. That after establishing in the path of morality and developing the consciousness, that is the samadhi and the right understanding wisdom, a person, an ardent sage, he can disentangle this tangle. These 2 verses are available in the Jata Sutta, and there is a story that once upon a time Buddha was dwelling at Sravasti in the Anathapindak Jetvan Mahavihar. And in the midnight, a certain son of the deity approaches to the Buddha, and he asked this question that there is a tangle inside, there is a tangle outside. Oh Gautam, I ask you again and again, who can disentangle this tangle? And in answer to this, the Buddha says that a person who is established in the path of morality or seal, he may develop chit or consciousness or the samadhi or right understanding wisdom, and an ardent sagacious persons can disentangle these tangles. In explaining these 2 verses, this text Visuddhimagga was composed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh. I am going to just brief in a manner the contents of Visuddhimagga. As we know that there are 23 chapters of Visuddhimagga. The first 2 chapters discusses about the path of morality, that is the Seal Nityesa and Dhutang Nityesa. There are 2 chapters which are discussing the morality, that is the seal. From the 3rd chapter to 13th chapter, there is a discussion on samadhi, that is the concentration or meditations. And from the 14th chapter to 23rd chapter, they are discussing the right understanding or the wisdom, panya. So there are 3 steps of the path of purifications, seal, samadhi, and panya. These three steps have been discussed in 23 chapters of Visuddhi Magga. As we know that seal is morality which curtails the physical and vocal misdeeds and makes them morally sound. And samadhi, which dispels or distracts the nivarnas or the, you can say, hindrances. And for that, there is a Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. So based upon the seal, there is a path of the Samadhi also. And there is all the Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. They, with the help of 40 subjects of meditations, that is the Chattalis Mathan, they have been discussed from the chapter 3rd to chapter 13. So these have been discussed. I will come that how in explaining from Seal, Samadhi and Panya from the 14th chapter to the 23rd chapter, how all the philosophical ideas which were available at the time of 5th century AD, how Buddha Ghosh was able to introduce those without arousing any suspicion among the scrutinizers of the commentaries in Sri Lanka. First of all, before explaining these two verses, Acharya Buddha Ghosh explains about the Visuddhi Magga, that what is the meaning of the Visuddhi Magga. As we know that Visuddhi Magga is made up of two words, Visuddhi and Magga. Visuddhi is the purification in literal sense, but Acharya Buddha Ghosh defines it Sabbal Birahitam Achant Parisuddham Nibbanam Tibeditabam, that it is a state of eternal bliss, Nibban, which is devoid of all the impurities and it is immense pure. So, Sabbal Birahitam Achant Parisuddham, this is the definition given by Acharya Buddha Ghosh, that Visuddhi is here in the state of eternal bliss. And Mag, as generally Maggoti Adhigam Upayo, Mag is the path, but here it is called as a Adhigam, that path which leads towards for getting a state of eternal bliss. So Visuddhi Magga is generally translated as a path of purifications. But Acharya Buddha Ghosh, explaining these two terms, he has given that how these Visuddhi Magga has been interpreted by our Buddha in the Nikayas, in the Suttas. So he gives all the descriptions that how Visuddhi Magga has been discussed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh in explaining the how a person can get a state of eternal bliss. First of all, he says that this Visuddhi Magga has come in the sense of Visuddhi, that is the state of eternal bliss. And in Dhammapada, he has quoted three passages, three verses from the Dhammapada, that Sabbe Sankhara Anichati Jadai Payahe Pasati Ath Nibandite Dukke Sumaggo Visuddhiya Sabbe Sankhara Dukkhati Jadai Payahe Pasati Ath Nibandite Dukke Sumaggo Visuddhiya Sabbe Dhamma Anattati Jadai Payahe Pasati Ath Nibandite Dukke Sumaggo Visuddhiya, that all things are subject to impermanence. If a person who sees it through the right understanding, that is the panya, all sufferings are being seized, and this is the path of purification. And all dhammas are subject to suffering, sabbe sankhara dukkha, and if a person who sees all these things, all sufferings are being seized, and this is the path of the purifications. And all dhammas are subject to soulless. It means that one who sees that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, all dhammas are subject to soulless, this is the state of eternal bliss, that is the Nibbana or Visuddhi. So Visuddhi has come in the sense of Anicca, Dukkha and Anatta. Again, the Dhammapad, again there is a verse, Yambhi Jhanam cha Banya cha Sawe Nibbana Santike, that a person who is associated with the Jhan and Panya, he is very much near to a Nibbana. So Visuddhi Magga has been interpreted in the sense of Jhan and Panya. Jhan is here Rupa Jhan and Arupa Jhan. There are 5 types of Rupjhan and there are 4 types of Arupjhan. So here, a person who is associated with the 5 types of Rupjhan and 4 types of Arupjhan and Panya, that is the right understanding, he is associated with right, you can say, Visuddhi Magga. Again, it is said that Visuddhi Magga has been interpreted by Buddha in the sense of Kamma. And here it is said that Yamhi Kammam Bija Sil Jivat Muttamam, that a person who is associated with the right actions, seal, morality, and other things, it is called as a Visuddhi Mag or path of purifications. Again, it is said that a person who is associated with seal or morality, he is very much near to Nibbana or a state of purification, Visuddhi, that is the Nibbana. And again, Buddha has also interpreted about that a person who is associated with the sati or mindfulness, he is very much near to Nibbana, or this is the path of the Nibbana. Even in Satipatthana Sutta of Digha Nikaya and again of Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha says that Chattaro cha Satipatthana Jadidam Chattaro Satipatthana, Buddha says that Ekaino ayam maggo sattanam visuddhiya Jadidam Chattaro Satipatthana Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana. Buddha says that this sati or mindfulness is the only path through which a person can get a state of visuddhi, that is the nirvana or a state of eternal bliss. So there are 4 types of mindfulness: Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana. So Acharya Buddha Ghosh has interpreted that Visuddhi Magga has been interpreted in the sense of mindfulness by the Buddha in the suttas available in Digha Nikaya and Majjhima Nikaya. Further, Buddha also says about Visuddhi Magga that one who is associated with the right efforts, there are 4 types of Samma Vyamo, that right efforts, he is also in position of Visuddhi Magga, that is the path of eternal bliss. So these are the things how Acharya Buddha Ghosh has explained in explaining the term of Visuddhi Magga, that how the Blessed One Buddha has interpreted Visuddhi Magga in the Sutta. After that, Buddha Ghosh has interpreted all the philosophical thoughts available in our Indian traditions. So first of all, he discusses about the morality, and in this explaining all the concepts of Buddhist thoughts, Acharya Buddha Ghosh interprets with the help of 4, you can say, characteristics, that is the Lakkhan, Rasa, Pachupatthana, and Padatthana. These are the 4, you can say, criteria through which all the philosophical concepts are being analyzed by the Buddha. Lakkhan means characteristics, Rasa means functions, Pachupatthana means manifestations, and Padatthana means immediate cause or foundations. So how the Lakkhan, Rasa, Pachupatthana, and Padatthana, all the Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, all the philosophical ideas, they have been explained by Acharya Buddha Ghosh with the help of this. So first of all, Acharya Buddha Ghosh discusses about or explains about the seal or morality, and in that sense, he says that Kim Lakkhanam Ti. And there are 4-5 questions for explaining all these terms, that Kim Silam Ti, Kin Athena Silam, that what is the seal, in what sense there is the morality or the, you can say, virtue or seal, and Kati Bidham Sealam, that what are the kinds of the seal, Kim Sankilesam, what are the defiling factors for seal, and Kim Buddhanam, what are the cleansing of those defiling factors also. So he raises 5 questions and he explains all these philosophical concepts with the Lakhan, Rasa, Pachpathan and Padathan. And it is interesting to note that Acharya Buddha Ghosh does not consider the interpretation given by our Mahakachan, who is also considered as a great interpreter in our Theravada Buddhism. At the time of Buddha also, Mahakachan was considered that he was able to analyze the teachings of the Buddha in a very successful manner. Those concepts which were not made clear by Buddha, Mahakachan was able to make it clear. And in Natti Pakarana, he has given the 16 haras to explain all these meanings of the words also, and how anubenjanas can be explained. So with the help of 16 haras, as Mahakachan has interpreted all these things. But Acharya Buddha Ghosh does not consider all these haras, but he gives another, you can say, 4 types of Lakhan, Rasa, Pachpathan and Padathan. And this is the one of the greatest contributions in explaining all the philosophical thoughts in the commentaries as well as in magnum opus work of Acharya Buddha Ghosh, that is the Visuddhi Magga. So here, first of all, that Lakhan, what is the characteristics of Kim Lakhanamati? So Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that Silanam Lakhanamati Silam. That seal or morality has the characteristics of Silana, that is the composing. Again, Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that what is the Silan or composing? Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that it is in the sense of Samadhan and Upadharanam. That is the coordination as well as holding the things, Samadhan and Upadharana. Again, Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that what is the Samadhan or coordinations? Then Acharya Buddha Ghosh explains that Kam Adinam Susilya Vasena Vikapinita Ti Athoti Samadhanam. That Samadhan or coordination is in the sense of inconsistency of the physical and vocal actions, physical, vocal, and mental actions by the way of the good conduct, Susilya Vasena. So he explains that Samadhan is in the sense of Kai Kam Adinam Susilya Vasena Avikappinitati Yatho. Again, Acharya Buddha goes that what is the Upadharana, that is the holding. That is the Kusalanam Dhammanam Patithan Vasena Adhara Bhavoti Yatho. That it is in the sense of the establishment of the arising of the moral dhammas. That here seal is in the sense of holding or establishing the moral dhammas. So this is the, you can say, one of the greatest contribution of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. How with the help of Lakhana characteristics, he explains each of the terms. Again, he says that what is the Upadharana and Samadhan. So other things they have been also discussed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh in the seal. And again, explaining the seal, that what is the seal? It is said that Pana, Tipata, Adi, Birmantassa, Chetana, Adayo, Vat Patipatti, Ti Sealam. That it is refraining from the killing of a living being and practicing all these, that refraining from the killing a living being, Panati, Pata, Dinna, Dana, Kamesu, Michachara, all the physical, vocal, and mental actions, these are called as, you can say, seal. Again, seal has been discussed that in the text of Patisambhida, that it has been discussed in the sense of Chetana seal, Chetasik seal, Sambara seal, Abhiti Kamba seal. So seal has been discussed in the 4 ways in that Patisambhida Vag. So Chetana Adayo, that it is the volition. Seal or morality is called as a volition, which refrains from killing of a living being. Panati Pata Adi Birmantassa, Bhattapatipatti Chetana Adayo. So it is the following of the volition which refrains from killing of a living being, etc. So this is Chetana, and Chetasik seal is also that mental factors which are associated with the Chit, that is the Chetana or volition, morality, Chetana seal. And Sambar seal here, it is restrainment or restrainment from Patimukha, Indriya Sambar and other seals. And again, it has been discussed in our Visuddhi Magga in a very, you can say, elaborate way in the text, that how it is they call as a Chetasik seal, Patimukha seal, or Sati Sambar seal, or Yana Sambar seal. So in a very brief manner, I will discuss all these things. That Chetasik seal is just refraining from the immoral deeds like killing, etc. And Patimukha Sambar seal is the restrainment of the 227 rules for the monks and 311 rules for the nuns. And Yan Sambara, that is the restrainment of the, you can say, knowledge related with the temperature, that is, this is the cold and this is the heat related with that. And Khanti Sambara is also called as that, how you have to wear all the cold and these things. So these have been discussed again in that sense. And the seal has been discussed in a very discussed manner, that what are the seals. They have been discussed in four ways, that it is in the sense of Patimukha Sambar seal, Indriya Sambar seal, Ajiva Parisuddhi seal, and Pachay Sanisita seal. So seal has been interpreted in the restrainment of the Patimukha, Indriya Sambar seal, and Ajiva Parisuddhi seal, and Pachay Sanisita seal. So in a very brief manner, that what is the Patimukha Sambar seal, Indriya Sambar seal, Ajiva Parisuddhi seal, and Pachay Sanisita seal. In a very brief manner, I will discuss that Patimukha Sambar seal is the name of the restrainment of the 227 rules for the monks and 311 rules for the nuns, and restrainment of all the, you can say, not transgression of the Bhikkhu Patimukha rules and Bhikkhuni Patimukha rules is called as Patimukha Sambar seal. Indriya Sambar seal is the name of the restrainment of the senses. There are 6 types of senses: Chakshu, Srot, Ghan, Jihiva, Kai, and Mana. And there are 6 types of objects also: Roop, Shabd, Gandh, Ras, Aspastabhya, and Dharmayatana. So these, each sense has its capacity to catch its respective objects. And whenever the object is being catched by our respective sense, then it creates attachment. And whenever there is the attachment of any the object, it creates suffering also. So in that way, it is supposed to restrain our 6 senses. And in that sense, it is called as Indriya Sambar seal. Ajiva Parisuddhi seal means that livelihood. We know that there are bad persons. So refraining from the bad livelihood, a person is supposed to purify himself through the Ajiva Parisuddhi seal. And Pachay Sanisita seal is the restrainment of the seal or morality through the 4 kinds of, you can say, Chivar, Pindapata, Senasana, and Gilana Pachay Bhesaja Parikhara. So in a very brief manner, these are called as seal. So in first chapters, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has discussed in a very detailed manner about the seal. You can say that what is the seal, what are the kinds of the seal, in what sense there is the morality or the seal, and what are the kinds of the seals they have been discussed, and all the philosophical ideas they have been, even the Chittavritti course and cognitions, when Acharya Buddha Ghosh discusses about the Indriya Sambar seal, so he has discussed about the concept of Chittavritti in explaining the Indriya Sambar seal. Again, in the second chapter, Dhutang Nidesh, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has discussed that how there are 13 types of factors which washes the or clean our dirty defiling factors of a personality. So these have been discussed in a very detailed manner. Here, the Dhutangas are in the sense of Samadhan, Chetana, that it is also called as a evolution. And here, Dhutangas are also called as a consciousness. And Chit, here it has been commented by Acharya Buddha Ghosh that Chittam ti Vichittam, that all the manifestations of the actions are being done by our consciousness or the volition. So all things are being guided by all these things. So it is necessary to clean all the 13 defiling factors of our, and they are called as dhut ang, that is the factors of washing away of defiling factors. Now, from the 3rd chapter to 13th chapter, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has discussed the samadhi or concentrations. Again, Acharya Buddha Ghosh, with the help of Lakhan, Rasa, Pachupatthana, and Padatthana, characteristics, functions, manifestations, and the foundation or immediate cause. With these factors, Acharya Buddha Ghosh tries to discuss about all these concepts related with the samadhi. So in a very brief manner, I will discuss the concept of samadhi. Samadhi is one pointedness of the moral consciousness. It has been defined by Acharya Buddha Ghosh as kusal chitas ekagatati samadhi, that it is the one pointedness of the moral consciousness. A hunter has also one pointedness, but his concentration cannot be called as a sadhana or meditations, but because that consciousness is defiled with the bad, or you can say those mulaka chit. So in that way, kusal chitas ekagatati samadhi. Samadhi is of two types, Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. Rup Samadhi is that type of concentration which is being achieved on the objects which have form and color. And Arup Samadhi is a kind of concentration which is being achieved on the objects which do not have form and color. And Rup Samadhi, as we know that a Yogavachar, when he enters from the path of the morality towards, and we have discussed that how seal is the curtailment of the physical and vocal misdeeds, and how curtailing the physical and vocal misdeeds, a Yogavachar becomes morally sound to enter into the path of the concentration, that is the samadhi. And through samadhi, when a Yogavachar enters, he finds that there are 5 types of hindrances which are putting obstacle in the path of concentrations. They are technically known as nivarnas or hindrances. Nivarnas are those immoral factors which put obstacle in the path of concentrations. Nivaranti paryondhinti na chittam samadhivitam ti nivaranam. They are 5 in number: Kam, Chand, Vyapad, Thirmid, Udat Kukuch, and Vichikitsha. These are the 5 types of hindrances. I'm not going to discuss all these in a very detailed manner because it will take much time. But for the removal of these or destruction of these 5 nivarnas or hindrances, there are 5 factors of concentrations, that is the jhanangas. They are called as Patham Jhan, Dutiya Jhan, Tatiya Jhan, Chaturth Jhan, and Pancham Jhan. And there are 5 jhanas which starts with the 5 factors: Vitakt, Vichar, Piti, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Patham Jhanam, Vichar, Piti, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Dutiya Jhanam, Piti, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Tatiya Jhanam, Sukha, Ekta Sahitam, Chaturth Jhanam, Upekha, Ekagata Sahitam, Pancham Jhanam. So these are the 5 factors which are responsible for the destruction of the Panch Nivarnas. So this is the Rup Samadhi. And Arup Samadhi, which is achieved on the 4 objects which do not have form and color. They are Akas and Chaitan, Biyan and Chaitan, Akin Chaitan, Nev Sanya, Nasanya Ayatana. So these are the 4 types of objects on which a Yogavachar meditates and tries to get his mind concentrated on these four objects also. And this is the general concept. But Acharya Buddha Ghosh, here with the help of 40 subjects of meditations, Talis Kamathan, he tries to discuss all the concepts related with the Samadhi. He discusses about the Upachar Samadhi and Apanna Samadhi. And Upanna Samadhi or Upachar Samadhi, all the 40 subjects of meditations have been discussed. Under the Apanna Samadhi, Apanna is the observation that there are only 10 types of, you can say, 8 types of Anusati and 2 types of Ahare Patu Kulasanya and Chatudhatu Bhavathanam. These 10 are called as Apannasa, and the remaining 30, 2 types of Anusati, and the remaining 30 they are called. So 46 Kamathan are namely 10 Asubh, 10 Kasin, 10 Anusati, 4 Brahmvihara, Chatudhatu Bhavathanam, Ahare Patukulusanya, and 4 Apamaya, that is the Brahmvihara, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. These are the 40 subjects of meditations. With the help of these subjects of meditations, Acharya Buddha Ghosh discusses that how a Yogavachar can take any one of the 40 subjects of meditations. And Acharya Buddha Ghosh has prescribed that for taking any subjects of meditations, he has given a concept of Kalyana Mitta, that through the Kalyana Mitta, any Yogavachar can take any subject of meditations subject to the temperament of the mental of the person concerned. So this has been discussed, and there is a concept that who is the Kalyana Mitta. Then Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that Buddha is the best Kalyana Mitta. If Buddha is not available, then his disciples or Hataj are the best Kalyana Mitta. If Arhats and the disciples are not available, the person who knows the Tipitaka or Pitakadhar, he is the best Kalyana Mitta. Even if Tipitakadhar is not available, then Binaydhar or Suttadhar or Matikadhar is available, he can be also a Kalyana Mitta. And any of these are not available, then even Nikayadhar is available, he can be also Kalyana Mitta. So Kalyan Mitta, what is the Kalyan Mitta? So Kalyan Mitta, out of under 40 subjects of meditations, after the understanding the mental temperament of the Yogavachar concerned, he gives or selects any of the 40 subjects of meditations to the person concerned. For example, a person who is associated with antipathy or dosa or dvesh bhavana, then he is being given with the 4 Brahma Viharas, that is the Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekha. And Yogavachar is adopting all these out of the 40 subjects meditations, only 4 Brahma Vihara, and tries to remove the consciousness associated with the antipathy or dosa mulaka chitta. And in that way, he tries to improve the 40 subjects of meditations. And related with that, he improves his capability to go into the enter of the Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. So before entering into the Rup Samadhi, this is the duty of the Kalyana Mitta as well as the Yogavachar concerned, that how he is preparing himself or morally sound to go enter into the path of the eternal bliss. Before going that, he has to enter in that way. So in that way, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has discussed all these things, and related with this, Buddha Ghosh has given all these things. And if you go through the logic and epistemology, Samanya Lakshana and Swalakshana, These have been also discussed in the concept of Acharya Buddha Ghosh in the from the chapter 13 to 13 also. How the concept of Acharya Nagarjuna and how the concepts of the Acharya Vasubandhu, they have been also discussed in the sense of the discussing the law of dependent originations when he is discussing the samadhi. So this is the also characteristics of Acharya Buddha Ghosh, that how he is discussing all these things discussing all these things. So when a Yogavachar is entering into that, he is also associated with 5 types of abhigya, that is called as a intuitive knowledge, and they are namely Idvid, that is the miraculous power, Dibba Sot, that he has the quality of hearing the, you can say, the sound. Dibba Chakshu, he has the divine eye to see the things which are not visible. Parchit Bijananam, he has the capacity to know the consciousness of the other persons also. And Pubbe Nivasa Anusutiyan, and he has the also the development of the knowledge that what the persons were in the previous existence. So this the 5 types of intuitive knowledge are being achieved by our Yogavachar in development of Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. So from the chapter 3 to 13, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has discussed all these things in a very detailed manner. Now we are coming to chapter 14 to chapter 23. Acharya Buddha Ghosh discusses the third step of the purification, that is called as Panya, right understanding, or Panya. So Panya has been discussed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh in a different manner also. And he is also discussing that how the Swabhav, the concept of Swabhav, which was available in the works of Acharya Nagarjuna and others. Acharya Buddha Ghosh has also interpreted the nature of Swabhav of the things in explaining the concept of Panya. So we will discuss that how Acharya Buddha Ghosh is successful in discussing, and he defines Panya, that Dhamba Swabhav Pativedhan Lakhanati Paya, that Panya has the characteristics to penetrate into the nature of the reality, that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all Dhambas are subject to soulless. So this is called as Panya. But Acharya Buddha Ghosh explaining the term Panya, first of all, he discusses that what is the Sanya and what is the Binyan, and what is the difference between the Panya, Binyan, and the Sanya. And before explaining the term Panya in a detailed manner, he discusses that Sanya is the knowing of the objects, that the objects are having the form and color. Nil Pita Adi Bhedena Sanjanati iti Sanya. That Sanya is the things which is known about the objects, that what are the forms and the color, whether they are blue or white or red and other things. These are known through the Sanya. But beyond, it is in the sense of Bijanati Tiyatho, that it is in the sense of knowing the objects, that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. But coming to Panya, that is the right understanding, Acharya Buddha Ghosh explains that Panya, through the Panya, the darkness of ignorance is being removed, that is the moh or avidya is being removed. We will discuss that what is the avidya. After removing the avidya, a person is able to know that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, all dhammas are subject to soulless, anicca, dukkha, and anitya. So avidya is just, you can say, not knowing the Four Noble Truth, not knowing the law of dependent origination, not knowing the law of causality, not knowing the law of interdependence, not knowing the previous existence, past existence, and the future existence. So through ignorance, through the panya, ignorance is being removed, and a person is able to know about the nature of the Dhamma, that is the Dhamma Swabhav. And Acharya Buddha goes in a very successful manner. He explains that Kusal Chitta Sampayuttam Vipassana Yanam Ti Panya. That Panya is the name of the insight, which is associated with the moral consciousness. So the moral consciousness which is associated with the insight is the name of the Panya. So Acharya Buddha Ghosh defines in a different manner also. And in the other text like Milind Pahyu, which is also considered as one of the great contribution of Acharya Nagasen or Milind, it has been also said about the Panya that Obhasana Lakhana Panya, that Panya has the characteristics of getting enlightened, or it has the mark of enlightening, or it is also called as Chedana Lakhana, that it has the mark of cutting off. So here Panya has the cutting off all the ignorance, dispelling the darkness of the ignorance, or making enlightened one also by removing the or dispelling the darkness of ignorance, and all things are subject to impermanence, subject to suffering, and subject to all dhammas are subject to soulless. Through the Panya, this is now Acharya Buddha Ghosh, for explaining the inside Panya, he has also given the 5 questions that Kim Panya, Kena Khina Panya, Katibidam Panya, and he has given all these things in a very detailed manner. But here Acharya Buddha Ghosh has interpreted all these philosophical ideas in a very different manner. If you see that how Acharya Buddha Ghosh has given the concept of insight tree, as we know that there is a tree which stands on the earth, and the roots are giving the support to the tree also, and there is a trunk which gives support to the branches and the leaves also. In the same way, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has explained the term Panya with the help of or with the simile of the insight tree. Here, insight tree, the earth has been given that all the Pancha Skandha, that is the रूप स्कंद, वेदना स्कंद, संज्ञा स्कंद, संखार स्कंद, विज्ञान स्कंद, 12 आयतन, 18 धातु, प्रतीत समुत्पाद, 4 noble truth, they are called as earth, they are called as bhumi. So these are giving the, you can say, as a support of earth for the development of the Panya. So Acharya Buddha goes for that, how the Vipassana can be developed. He has given the simile of the tree. And for the roots, Acharya Buddha Ghosh has given that Sila Visuddhi and Chitta Visuddhi are the roots of the Panya, or you can say insight. So here, Sila Visuddhi and Chitta Visuddhi, in a very brief manner, what are the roots which are giving the support to the tree, that is the Vipassana, or you can say Panya tree. So let me clear that what is the Vipassana, that Vises Pakarena, Anicca Adi Vises Pakarena Passati iti Vipassana. That Vipassana is that which gives a person able to visualize the things, that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So this is the Vipassana, and Panya has been given here in the name of the Vipassana. And so Vipassana here, Sila Visuddhi and Chitta Visuddhi are considered as the roots. Sila Visuddhi, we have also discussed that it is the name of the Patimukha Sambar Sila, Indriya Sambar Sila, Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila, and Pachya Sanisita Sila. This is the name of the Sila Visuddhi. So a Yogavachar tries to purify himself with the Patimukha Sambar Sila, Indriya Sambar Sila, Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila, and Pachya Sanisita Sila. Again, Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that Chit Visuddhi, here Chit is in the sense of concentrations. That is, it is the name of the Rup Samadhi and Rup Samadhi. That here Chit is in the sense of the calming of the mind. That is the Samat. It is another name of the Samat. That is the path of the calmness. So Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi, and what we have discussed from the chapter 3rd to 13, that how 40 subjects of meditations, 10 kasin, 10 anusati, 10 kasin, 10 anusati, 10 4 Brahma Viharas, and how these Ahare Patikula Sanya Chatu Dhatu Bhavathanam, how these are making, you can say, 40 subjects of meditations, they are here called as Chitta Visuddhi, that purification of the personality through the Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. These Sila Visuddhi and Chitta Visuddhi are called as, you can say, roots of the Vipassana tree or insight tree. Again, how these Vipassana or Panya can be discussed, here we have to see that here there is a concept of, we have seen that Panchaskandha Dwadas Aitan, and in another way we can say that man is a composition of mind and matter. So here a Yogavachar strives to visualize himself about the personality of a being, that what is the Nam and Rupa, how a Nam is called as Vedana Khanto, Sanya Khanto, Sankhar Khanto, Bhyan Khanto, Asankhata Cha Dhatu, Idam Buchati Namam. And Rup is called as Chattaro Cha Mahabhuta, Chatunnam Cha Mahabhutanam, Idam Buchati Rupam. So here a Yogavachar tries to visualize himself about the, you can say, that a man is a composition of mind and matter, and how is a man is a just a punja matra. It is just a conglomeration of the mind and matter, or it is a composition of the panchaskandhas or dwadas aitan or 18 dhatu. Now a Jagabachar tries to remove all these 5 types of, you can say, purifications. They are called as Pancha Visuddhi, or that is they call as Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi. Then, so first of all, this is called as Dithi Visuddhi, Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi, Mag Yan Dasan Visuddhi, Patipada Yan Dasan Visuddhi, and Yan Dasan Visuddhi. These are the 5 types of purifications. They are called as trunk and the branches of the Vipassana tree. So let me discuss in a very brief manner these 5. Then it will cover all the philosophical thoughts, how Acharya Buddha Ghosh has discussed all these things. So in the Dithi Visuddhi, first of all, Acharya Buddha Ghosh tries to discuss that all the 5 Panchaskandhas or the Dwadas Aitan or 18 Dhati, there is no permanent essence in the personality of a being. That all things are dependent on some cause and conditions. So Dithi, at the time of the Buddha also, there were 62 types of Michha Ditthis also, but there are in Abhidham Pitak text, these Ditthis have been discussed in 10 Abhyakat Pahiyon, that the world is eternal, the world is not eternal, the body and the soul are the same, body and the soul are not the same. Tathagata takes birth after the death, Tathagata does not take birth after the death, neither Tathagata takes birth after the death, and the body and the soul are the same. These 10 types of Abhyakata, that is the non-unanswerable questions, these were also called as Ditti. So here, Ditti Visuddhi, that is the purifications of the false views. Here, there is no permanent entity in the personality of a being. Acharya Nagasen also says that Sankha Samaya Payati Boharo Namumattam Jadidam Nagasino Boharasino Jadid so there is no permanent tense. People call it only for the sake of calling any persons Nagasen, Veersena, Susanan. And in the Sanjukta Nikaya, before the Vajray Bhikkhuni, Buddha also says that Yathahi Ang Sambhara hoti, Saddorato hoti, Yom Khandesu hoti, Sattoti Samoti. That just like a chariot has the different parts and it is called as a chariot. In the same way, the Panchskandhas are called as, you can say, human personality. There is no permanent entity in the personality of a being. Na het puggalo upalabhati. So purification of the false views is the just purifications, that there is no permanent essence or entity in the personality of a being. Kankha Vitarna Visuddhi, that Kankha Vitarna, doubt here, that doubt related with the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, Sathari Kankhati Vichikichati, Dhamme Kankhati Vichikichati, Sanghe Kankhati Vichikichati, that doubt related with the Buddha, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and also 10 types of precepts also is called as, you can say, doubt. So here doubt means that is the kankha, means sansayo. So these are that there is a doubt related with the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and purification of all these doubts is called as kankha vitarana visuddhi. And whenever there is an example also, it is said that whenever there is a physician who encounters a disease, then he tries to find out what is the origin of the disease and how it has come to the, and how it can be eradicated also. And in the same way, here also Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that everything comes into existence dependent on some cause and conditions. There is no any entity which comes into existence without depending on some cause and conditions. So there is no any existence which is called as ahetuk. Everything is dependent on some cause and conditions. So removing all these doubts is called as kankha vitaranam visuddhi. Third is called as magga amanga yana darsana visuddhi, that purification of the knowledge of the path and not path. So what is the path and not path? Let me make it clear. The path is here eightfold path, and what is the path which leads towards a state of eternal bliss or nirvana, and not a path that which does not leads towards the state of eternal bliss. So this is the you can say knowledge of the path and non-path. So a Yogavachar purifies himself through the knowledge of the mug and amag. So in that way, and whenever he tries to remove all these, you can say the things, there is a sudden enlightenment or thrill of pleasant sensation in the mind of Yogavachar concerned also. And there are 9 types of things which are coming into the body of Yogavachar. And Acharya Buddha Ghosh says that how these, that obhas, piti, pasadhi, adhimukha, paggaho, sukh, yan, upathan, upekha, and nikam. So these are coming in as a sudden, you can say, causes to a Yogavachar. And he tries to remove all these things through the path and not path also. So again, there is also called as that it is the technical name of 9 types of knowledge, that when a person knows all these things, they are called as a. So next is called as Patipada Yan Dassana. So Patipada means that is the path. Here Patipada is the, you can say, eightfold path also. That path leads towards a state of eternal bliss. And in that way, there are the 9 types of knowledges which are coming. Udvayana, Bhangayana, Bhayana, Adinavayana, Nividyayan, Munchet Kametu Yana. So these are the some of the knowledges which are coming. And a Yogavachar becomes very much glad also that these sudden enlightenment is coming to me. but he has to take care himself that how he is not associated with these pleasant moments. Otherwise, these pleasant moments are also a factor of impediment also, and that cause a Jogabachar not to get a state of eternal bliss. So next is called as Yana Darsana Vishuddhi, that purifications through the knowledge as well as vision also. And then here in sight, there are 4 factors which are coming in the path of that is called as Parikam, Upachar, Anulom, and Gotrubhu. So Parikam is here that a Yogavachar tries to himself prepare for the Apanna, that is the absorption, which is able to get in the path of the concentration, that is the Upachar and Apanna. And Upachar is, you can say, excess of the that which comes upchar. Up is the prefix which goes to the, you can say, a state of eternal bliss. And anulom is the temperament, or accordingly the things which are coming to a Jogavachara. And Gotrabhu is called as a state of a Nibbana. So these 4 are called as a Yana Darsana Visuddhi. And then a Jogavachara tries to enter into the realm of the, you can say, path of Nibbana. And there are 4 stages which are coming here, and they are known as Sakadagami, Sotapan, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhat. These are the 4 paths and 4 phal also. And here a Jogabachar also tries to remove the 10 types of fetters. But here there are some of the factors which are also compelling a Jogavachar through the path of the Sotapatti, Sagdagami, Anagami, and Arhat. These are the 4 paths through which these factors are being removed. So due to lack of time, I am not going to detail. So the Jogavachar tries to get a, you can say, a state of eternal bliss through these 4 stages of Sotapatti Magga, Sagdagami Magga, Anagami Magga, Arhat Magga, and tries to get a state of eternal bliss. So this is the whole path, Sil, Samadhi, and Panya, that how a Jogavachar tries to get all these things through the 3-step path, that is the Sil, Samadhi, and Panya, and how the 3 steps of path of purifications have been discussed by Acharya Buddha Ghosh in his magnum opus work of Visuddhi Magga of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. He has discussed all these things in a very detailed manner. So in a, this is the essence in a very, it is very difficult to summarize all the philosophical teachings available or philosophical thoughts which are available in Visuddhi Magga. But I tried to summarize all these things, that how the concept of Bhavanga as well as Vithi Mutta, Chitti Pravritti Vigyan, all these philosophical thoughts which were discussed at the time of 5th century AD, how these have been discussed in the work Visuddhi Magga by Acharya Buddha Ghosh, and how without any arousing suspicion among the persons who were scrutinizing the Visuddhi Magga or the commentaries of the Acharya Buddha Ghosh, so how much he was successful. And some of the scholars like Professor D.J. Kalupahana and Professor Asang Triratne, that what the path or unitary philosophical thoughts which was established by Acharya Buddha Ghosh, it is still standing, or it is still established in Sri Lanka, Thailand, or Myanmar, in Theravada countries also. And how these are philosophical analyzed in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and other things in the manuals of the Vinaya or Abhidhamma. We have to analyze things. So with these words, I thank Professor Anand Misra ji, head of the department, and the members of Department of Philosophy and Religion, BHU Banaras Hindu University, all the dignitaries, all the senior faculties of Banaras Hindu University, all my respected teachers who are observing me. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share some of the views related with the Visuddhimagga of Acharya Vidya Ghosh. Thank you very much.